Hey, welcome back. This is Alex, and this is the second part in our Photoshop Basics class, and we're going to be going over working with layers. So let's go ahead and open up Photoshop and get started. Okay, so first thing we want to do is look at our layer dock over here, and we have the default layer is called background, and we need a new layer we can start to work on. So what I want to do is just come down to the dock and click this icon right here, which is create new layer. Now that I've created that new layer, I want to draw a smiley face, and first thing I need to do is go ahead and grab our marquee tool, and let's draw a nice proportional circle, and let's select a smiley face type of yellow. Okay, and let's go ahead and fill that in. We need to name this layer, so let's click over here. If we double click the layer, we can edit it, and let's just go ahead and type in smile. Okay, and let's create another layer. We're going to do the same thing. Let's click over here. Okay, we're going to use a marquee tool. I'm going to draw an eye, and let's go ahead and fill that in with our gradient bucket tool. Okay, so let's go ahead and just name this layer. Double click, and let's just call this eye, and we need two eyes. So if you want to duplicate a layer in Photoshop, you can right click the layer and you can select duplicate layer right here, or you can take that layer and you can click and drag it down to the new layer icon dock in the dock and just release it, and you'll see it's duplicated, and Photoshop automatically puts the extension copy on there. So let's go ahead and move this layer over here. Okay, now what I want to do is create a nice smiley face, and I'm going to use the eye to actually make the face. So let's duplicate again, and let's move that layer down. Okay, now let me just go ahead and just transform this. I'm just going to free transform, which is Control T, and I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to click check, and then Control T again. Let's make it nice and wide. Holding down Alt, we can scale proportionally. Okay, and then holding down Control T again. If I click right here, this option brings up the warp tools, and you're going to see warp, and then we have some different options. Let's go ahead and select arc, and the default arc bends up, but let's go ahead and bend that down into a nice happy face. Okay, you just say okay. Now we have our two eyes and a smiley face. So let's go ahead and name this smile. Now let's go ahead and merge these two layers. Holding down I copy and Control and click I, and now right click and select merge layers. Now you see I copy. Let's go ahead and just name that I. Now these three layers, everything is moving separately. If I want to link them all together so I can move them all together at once, I can hold down Control and select those three layers. And now if I go to the move tool, everything moves together. There's also a link option in the layers dock. Let's go ahead and click that and see some links. And what that does is if I click the smile layer and I move it, everything that's linked to it also moves. So one thing I like to do is color coordinate things that are linked so I can see them easily. When you start to work with lots of layers, you want to help to organize your Photoshop file. So this is one trick you can use. So holding down Control, I'm going to select these three layers, and I'm going to right click and just pick yellow. Okay, now you can see that the layers are colored, and you can see that they're locked. Now let's go ahead and duplicate this because I want to make a frowny face too. So I'm just going to grab this and bring it down to the new layer. Okay, and I'm going to grab all of these. Holding down Shift, I'm going to just select all those layers, and I'm going to transform all of them and make them a little bit smaller. Okay, and I'm going to grab this smiley face and move him over here, and grab this smiley face and move him over here. Now if I grab the smile and I try to rotate it, it's going to rotate everything. So what do? Unlock it, click this layer. Now we can just, using free transform, we can turn it 180 degrees, And let's go ahead and select our other two layers and lock it back together. We have 6 different layers. This might become a little confusing, so I can either reassign this a new color, or I can put it into a folder. So to create a folder, what we want to do is just come down here and click folder icon, and I can just control click these 3 layers, deselect the folder, and then move everything inside the folder. And when it goes inside the folder, you'll see that it's become indented a little bit. And I can click this triangle and close it up, open and close, and I can hide that layer. And if I grab the actual folder, everything moves, whether or not they're linked or not. Everything inside the folder group gets moved. So let's name this frown. Okay, here's another way to create a folder group. If I select the 3 layers, holding down Control and drag them onto the folder, it'll create a group, and all the selected layers will be nested inside the group, you see? And I can also colorize this. Let's see, if I make this green, you'll notice that the old layer colors get disabled and they get replaced with green. So let's go ahead and name this Smile. Okay, now if I select these 2 folders and I drag them onto the Create New Layer icon, it'll also duplicate them the same way it duplicates layers. Let's go ahead and move that down, and let's go ahead and move all this stuff up here. Okay, and I'm just going to nest the frowns together, and if I drag those onto the folder icon, it'll group those, and you'll see that you can have groups inside of groups, and everything is indented 1, 2, 3. Okay, I think that's a good start with layers. There's a lot more options that we can get into in the next set of tutorials, but I just want to give you a small introduction on how to use them, how to group things, and how to colorize things.